All right.
Zoe was asking, which franchise do you want to see revived first, Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street?
Nightmare on Elm Street. For me personally, I would rather, because the problem is, like, we haven't had a good Nightmare on Elm Street in a long time. I mean, Friday the 13th, you could argue that, but the one that came out with Jared Padalecki, I don't think was bad. I just think it was like, it was just kind of different. I mean, Jason was just upset about people trying to steal his weed. That's all it was. I mean, he was growing pot. Mm-hmm. People kept trying to steal it. So he killed
Don't take Jason's weed.
That's what the whole movie was about. Like, it was literally about Jason getting upset that people were trying to take his pot. But even the guy that was doing in the garage or whatever, like he tries to sell pot that he stole from Jason, and Jason shows up and kills him. Like, hey man, like, so he was just doing.
Yeah, Angela.
That was great, Gary.
How do you feel about Stu?
That's what's going on. Fate's got his phone over there.
It's a burner.
That's
Look at this. I could stop all the BS.
I can stop all the BS.
That's so funny.
As for Nightmare on Elm Street, I personally, I would like to see a reboot, because that remake to Nightmare on Elm Street was terrible. Like, I mean, it was awful. So I'd like to see that. Of course, I mean, I'd love to see a good Friday the 13th movie, but
That's
Nightmare
true.
on Elm Street, I'd probably go with that, because I just love the original Nightmare on Elm Street. And I feel like that's a franchise that deserves to get rebooted in a proper manner. Here's a better question: who would you want to direct a Nightmare on Elm Street?
Ooh,
that's a really good question, because that would make or break the movie, man.
Yes.
Yes.
True. I agree.
I got one in mind.
Who do you?
Jake, are you serious?
No.
Okay. The click end broadcast.
This is why I love Jake so much. He has such a good sense of humor. You are just a wonderful human being.
God. Tyler is just such a wonderful human being, guys. I don't, we don't talk too much about the other people in the collective, but God, no offense, Knight or Steven, but Tyler is just the best human being.
I mean,
God,
He's the cat's meow, right?
He's the icing. He's the pudding. He's the icing that makes the cake melt. He's
whenever anyone says pudding, I always think of Harley Quinn in the Joker.
Oh God.
Pudding. I do every day.
Carrie.
Fate's burner account. That's
Angela,
right.
I need you in this chat. Where'd you go? Okay. I'm gonna keep my hands up until she responds. Fate's burner account. Believe me, if it was a burner account, I'd be talking a lot more than it is that. I tell you, I really feel.
Oh my gosh.
No, but back to who would you want to direct a Nightmare on Elm Street?
Oh yeah.
I think that's a good question. I really do. I think that's a really
Gosh, man.
Yeah. Well, not to be redundant on what we've talked about earlier, I personally would want to see James Wan take a shot at it. Because he could do it, guys. I think James Wan could do it right.
Yeah, he could.
James Wan and Lee Winnell writing, that'd be kind of interesting.
It would.
Man. Because, I mean, if you think about it, Insidious is very close to Nightmare on Elm Street, conceptually.
Yeah.
It's not too far off. I mean, Steven, I know you haven't seen those movies, but it's
Right.
basically about, demons in your dream. It's essentially that concept. So, I mean, that would work so well. Do an Insidious-style Freddy movie? I don't know.
Yes.
I mean, I'm down for that, personally.
I would be too.
That's
Big
new.
time.
I would be
It's
too.
fresh.
Yeah.
Yep.
If they
I
could
wouldn't be
do it,
worried about it as much. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I agree, and I wouldn't be worried about it either with those guys on board. But if they could even get it close to that vibe of the original, I mean, that original, man, that was such a good movie, guys.
Masterpiece, dude.
It really
Music,
was
the performance,
the atmosphere, the choices that Wes made. I mean, God, just thinking about it, it's just one of those masterpieces. It truly is.
It is.
It really is.
What about
Right.
Radio Silence? Would you want Radio Silence to take it over? Or do you think, no, that's a little too...
We're going to have to wait if Radio Silence does it. They got a lot of projects in the works.
No, I know,
point.
but I'm just saying, in general, just
Stylistic-wise, do you think it's a good fit or not?
I think it's a good fit.
To me, James Wan is a much better fit stylistically
I think so too.
than Radio Silence.
And I agree with that because I feel like I want it to be. I don't like. Do we want a darker version of Freddy, or do we want to go the funny route with Freddy? Because I don't think Radio Silence would give us that funny route. They would try to make it the darkest version of Freddy ever. Which, unlike my opinion on the Scream franchise, I don't know if I want it to go that way. Because there's a part of me that likes one-liner Freddy. You know, I always thought that was.
But here's a good point to that though. Was that so great because of Robert Englund? Or as Freddy as a character. See, that's a big.
Is that why those originals were so good, and why the 2010?
Yeah, exactly. Because that's a big thing too. I mean, because as big of a question of who should direct Nightmare on Elm Street, I think as big of a question is who would play Freddy.
Yes.
Maybe even a bigger
100% agree.
Maybe even a bigger question.
We had someone that was asking that question too. Who would play Freddy?
Mm-hmm. See, and that's the thing. It's important. Yeah, go ahead. What you want to say?
Okay. Do you guys watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yes.
Yeah. Glenn Howerton as Freddy Krueger. Thoughts? Because he's like in the show, he's a psychopath. Yeah. Like he's literally his character is literally a psychopath. I could see it. I don't know.
That would be interesting.
Maybe. Yeah.
It's one of those things I'd have to actually see him as a.
I mean, here's the funny thing about, and I don't mean to go off on the tangent, but the thing about Robert is, before Robert did Freddy, it's like, did people really think that he was gonna be what he became? I mean, obviously he had talent as an actor, and there was a vision, and he had the guidance of Wes. But I'm pretty sure that he's even said it. I mean, no one really thought it was going to become what it was going to become. Yeah. So I think, if you have someone that's talented as an actor with the right
Didn't Robert Englund say that he thought the movie was going to flop? I remember seeing something about that where he said he had no idea.
It wouldn't surprise me.
That he didn't think it was going to be very good at all.
I don't know if he ever said that, but he could have. I mean, knowing Robert,
it might have not been like verbatim, but something along those lines. Like he thought it was. He didn't think it was going to be a great movie. The iconic. He didn't think that it was going to change his life and become the franchise that it became.
I've heard that.
I mean, because most people don't even know Robert Englund from anything else. I mean, Robert Englund has done so much stuff. I mean, he has a TV show even right now on Travel Channel or whatever. Robert Englund talks. I can't remember the name of the show exactly, but he basically dives into like lore, talks lore or something like that. It's actually a really good show. But I mean, he was in like 10,000 Maniacs or whatever. That was a great movie. He was in tons of shows and stuff before.
He was on V, that miniseries. Oh I love that show. Yeah. I just watched a movie the other day, an oldie from I think '82, Dead and Buried. He had a small part in that, and it's like, oh shit, that's Robert Englund, So he was in a bunch of stuff. And Freddy was the one that really just, launched him into the stratosphere.
And my favorite performance from him is, of course, Anaconda versus Lake Placid.
Oh, no.
You guys ever see that movie?
No, I have not.
10 out of 10.
In passing. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that since.
And Robert Englund's in it, so yeah.
Thanks, Blockbuster days.
Jen's asking, what if he directed a new Nightmare on Elm Street?
That would be pretty interesting.
I don't think he's a producer.
Directed though.
I definitely think it'd be great to have him on.
Producer,
doing something.
So he said that he actually had a Nightmare on Elm Street that he wanted to produce himself, and he's even said that he'd be willing to come back for one more Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, depending on the story.
Let's go! Come on, let's go!
You want to talk about the success of Scream and Halloween? I think a new Nightmare on Elm Street with Robert Englund. I think that would be one of the best. Mrs. Doubtfire. I think that would be one of the best horror, like success wise. I think a new Nightmare on Elm Street, like with Robert Englund, I think would destroy box offices.
Amazing!
I don't even think it matters. Yeah. You could release it with Halloween and Scream, and I bet you it would because the chance that could be the last chance we ever see Robert Englund.
Oh yeah.
Elm
Street. Yeah. I mean, Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm Street still has so much weight in the horror genre. So there's no doubt that people would flock to see it, especially because the last one left fans so divided. Like massively divided.
Yeah.
We could use a comeback like that. That would be awesome.
Right?
That would be
Oh
so
my
fun.
gosh, that would be nice.
So, have you guys heard about the new season of Stranger Things, or no? With Robert Englund.
I have not.
Oh,
What?
I didn't know.
No.
However you feel about Stranger Things, there is a good reason to watch this new season because of Robert Englund, who's going to be in it. And
What?
a lot of theories point towards the fact that he might be playing a character very parallel to Freddy Krueger in the series.
Really?
Yeah. So, like, dude, I've never been more excited for a season of Stranger Things, honestly. Like, I like the show. I think it's good. I think it's fun.
Yeah, me too.
It's nothing like super...
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
No. I was just gonna. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just gonna say, like, I'm not like really up to date with it. I've never really gotten into it the way that I don't think it's as good as people advertise it to be. But I feel like that about a lot of shows. Like Walking Dead, I couldn't really get into Walking Dead.
Not a Walking Dead fan, honestly.
Yeah, like
well, after the fourth season, it was just like, oh, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just.
I like it though.
The Walking Dead.
No. Stranger Things. I enjoy it. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun show.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like I said, it's entertaining. But yeah, I'll definitely have to watch it again, especially if Robert Englund's going to be in it.
Heck yeah!
I got to support anything he's going to watch. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
he could be in something terrible, and I'll watch it just because it's Robert Englund. Like.